Hi everybody, welcome to the first ever episode of the Post-Call Gaming Grand Rounds. I am joined tonight by my great friend and perpetual co-host, Ayro.
Hey.
How you doing, Ayro?
I'm doing alright.
Just to start off, we're officially going to do a little bit of handover. We're going to discuss some of the recent video game news that have come out. Ayro, I'm going to start off with our first story. Anybody who grew up in the 90s is very familiar with Toys R Us. And they've actually just come out with a statement that they are now no longer going to be bankrupt after initially filing for bankruptcy in September 2017. It's interesting because the Wall Street Journal actually pitched this company as having left an $11 billion hole in the toy industry, which is pretty impressive. And so apparently they're just going to try to rebrand the store and come back.
So do you know what exactly is happening? Is it being absorbed by another sort of conglomerate, or is it all we know right now is that they have rescinded the bankruptcy statement?
So interestingly, it really is just they're rescinding the statement. They're no longer putting the company up for auction.
Okay. Interesting.
It's quite... I remember hearing about the bankruptcy like a year ago, and we were all... I mean, growing up where we did, it was... But Toys R Us was kind of like not a significant, but like a known presence in our area.
Well, but this was, I thought the bankruptcy statement and the closing of a lot of the Toys R Us stores was primarily U.S. based.
That's true, but now it seems like the U.S. brand is recovering. So
yeah, I guess what I mean is like it had a much smaller impact on us because I don't know if Dax wants anyone to know.
We're Canadian. Yeah, I think we've established many times in the past in the stream that we're Canadian. So, Ayro, what do you have any special memories belonging to Toys R Us? Like, is this a significant toy store brand for you with this $11 billion hole that's been left?
Well, I mean, us in Canada, whenever we left our igloos to go to Toys R Us, jumping onto our dog sleds. No, it's I remember going in there and I remember like getting some stuff here and there, but I wasn't really big on going to Toys R Us. Like, it's a great place. I used to go there to look at all like the crazy Lego stuff that they have. I really like Legos. But outside of that, I guess when I first heard the news that they were going under, at least with the US branch, the only thing I could think was, man, I wonder if I can go there for some cheap Lego. Yeah, I know it's pretty bad.
I think that's fair. I think everyone's memories of Toys R Us is going in to play with the toys, like those big cars and stuff.
Okay, so Walt has something to add to this. Do you want to read it?
Yeah, let me just... Lenders own the rights and other stuff. The bankrupt retailer's debtors aim to open a new Toys R Us and Babies R Us branding company that will maintain the existing global license agreements and then invest and develop new retail shops. Oh, hey, so I guess they're basically just taking the name and running with it.
Floppy disk.
Yeah, I was seeing that. So Walsh just said, I bought my first PC game at Toys R Us on a floppy disk. Which game was that, Waltz? Yeah, I was curious. Does Walter remember what game that is? Some tank game.
To be fair, I bought my first Pokemon game, Pokemon Blue version, at a Toys R Us. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember buying a lot of games at Toys R Us. Like, to me, it's not like, you know, obviously, EB Games is our equivalent to GameStop up here, and that's probably where I remember making most of my purchases, but Toys R Us was a special place.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess it didn't really make a big difference because the video game industry and the pricing for video games, especially with these sort of from the major retailers, are all pretty much the same across the board, right?
Oh, yeah. The MRSP is pretty much, like, no matter where you go, you're pretty much locked, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it's more of a just picking your brand favorites of which stores you want to support.
So actually, now that you've brought that up, Ayro, it's actually a good time to discuss, like, what is the state, do you think, of buying physical games in this day and age? Like, especially now with everyone having their own digital storefronts, is there still room for purchasing physical games outside of, like, the collector's editions and all the bonuses you can get with stuff like that?
I mean, I feel like even the collector's editions are getting very questionable in terms of value and what it's really worth. Just because with some of them, it's like you're paying an extra $30 premium to get maybe like an extra soundtrack that's digital, and like maybe like a steelbook cover case or something like that. And so it definitely doesn't feel as good as it used to. And there's no incentives anymore for sort of pre-ordering, and there's really no reason to pre-order a lot of games now, which is kind of disappointing. It used to be such a big thing. I remember I used to go to like EB Games and check out what games are coming out and like what's on the list, and like if you want to pre-order something. But I guess that's a whole different issue. For a long time, I have my DS. I still play it, and for a long time, I was very adamant on getting physical games. I was like, I want physical games. I want the game cartridges. They're cool. I'll carry them around. And then once I started traveling with my DS, I was like, I really wish these were all digital and I could just load up my games without having to keep switching the cartridges.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. So you mentioned like traveling around. Was there any other like impetus to when you made that decision of like, I wish stuff was more digital?
You know what? Not really. I'm usually the type of gamer that likes to just play one game and focus on one game, and once I beat it, I'll play a different game. So I don't really have the urge to play like a whole bunch of different ones in a short period of time.
Yeah.
So it was never an issue of not having enough games, but it's more so when I'm away and now I have to carry all these little cartridges with me, I have to find a place to put it, and then sometimes I might leave most of my luggage somewhere and like go somewhere else for a few days, and then suddenly I'm like, I wish I had my other game. I want to play Mario Kart. I want to play something else.
Yeah.
So that's when it really sort of hits home that I really wanted something. But you sort of start, without the physical aspect of it, you also lose that cool, like, you know how people used to have walls of PS2, Xbox games, and things like that. I had this huge library. And it was cool to physically see a library of games. And now you don't see that anymore. And it's a little disappointing.
I know what you mean. I remember being a kid and there was like a sense of satisfaction whenever you had a quote unquote library. Like you would line stuff up and you would say like, these are all my games. Like it's such like it's like such a beautiful collection kind of thing. And now it's kind of more, especially I think as we got older and we moved out or we started needing to be more mindful of our space, it's consistently, oh man, like I don't have room for all these games. And then I guess for me it's interesting. I have a different problem from you. I tend to be the type of person where it's like if I get stuck on a game, I need to quickly play something else. I need to like break that mental block. And so having games on digital, to me, the big benefit is like, oh, I get to jump from game to game. If I'm stuck here, I'll play something else and then I'll go back and try again.
It is really nice.
Yeah.
And I think when I still own consoles and when I still playing on things like a PlayStation or something that's physical, like one of those consoles, like I would get physical games and it felt very normal. But the moment I started playing more Steam, the moment I started accumulating a Steam library, that's when it was all digital. Digital's great. We're just going to go all digital.
Yeah.
It's not even portable. It's just, I don't want to have to change CDs. I don't want to have to do all this kind of stuff if I ever play a different game on my computer. So
right.
That's probably one of the big things too.
I agree. It's just one of those things where well, I guess the interesting kind of caveat to all of this is I actually have gone back to being more physical in terms of like buying my games physically. But a big part of that is because as I got older, I've now become more comfortable with reselling my games.
That's true.
Whereas as a kid, it was like unimaginable. Like, no, I'll never trade my games back in, They're my games, I'll never know if I want to go back. And now it's like, this game sucks, I'm trading it in, I get some money back and go on to the next one.
I guess as you get older, you sort of refine your taste, right? You know what you like, what you dislike, and you can immediately say, wow, I am selling Xenoblade.
Which is exactly what I did. I sold that and got so much money back for Monster Hunter World, which was totally worth it.
So I guess that's the big thing with physical versus digital games. There's still a resale value inherent to the physical game versus the digital one. And it's probably not a topic that we'll ever really touch on too much, but it then gets to the same idea of collectibles and whether it should stay physical or some of the things that are moving to digital. I'm talking about sort of like different types of card games online. There's like
Magic,
the Gathering,
Pokemon,
which is a physical card game, but now it's moving on to an online system where you still pay, but you pay a little less to get a card collection online. At that point, you're seeing, well, physical cards have an inherent value to them, that will always be there if I have a physical copy of it. But a digital copy, something could happen and I could no longer have that. If I get bored and I lose my account, that money's gone. But if you have your Magic cards wedged in between a book somewhere, if you use it for a bookmark, and you find that it's a Black Lotus, you could be in a lot of money.
Yeah, no, it's true. I agree. But I mean, also, I guess the interesting thing in that discussion is, like, how much do you think that transition has been motivated by stuff like Hearthstone, which has never had a physical, representation of its cards? At least I think it's never had any physical representation.
No. If they are, it's been fan creations, but there's no actual physical representation. And it's definitely really weird because it's one of the few games that are very successful that is a game that people will dump money into. But at the end of the day, they don't get anything out of other than enjoyment.
Exactly.
Enjoyment, that's all they get out of it.
Yeah, and even like the tournaments and stuff, like all you really win from the tournaments is more digital cards, right?
No. Like, the prizing for that stuff is generally money, from what I understand.
Okay.
There's not a lot of, like, actual digital product, which is sort of a good thing. You don't necessarily want more product if you already have most of the stuff. But it's a different conversation for a different day, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I confess to being super ignorant about the Hearthstone scene.
Yeah, it's no problem. I follow it quite a bit, but I'm not playing at a professional level or at a very high level either, so it's something we can discuss some other time.
All right, moving on. We got two more stories. One I think is fun to talk about, maybe not as relevant to the two of us, because neither of us were particularly attached to this game when it first came out or through time. Actually, you may have been, Ayro, but I just never talked to you about it. So, Minecraft recently came out with its monthly player figures. If you haven't already seen it on our little shared document, how many people do you think still play Minecraft on a monthly basis, Ayro?
I don't know. I
hazard a guess.
Onto the hype.
Hazard a guess.
Monthly?
Yeah.
Given the fact that you're even bringing this up, I'm gonna say it's in the millions.
Okay, how many millions?
5?
So I'm going to give you another really popular game right now. I'll give you the number that's currently playing Fortnite, which is super popular. Not only is it super popular, it's across multiple platforms.
Yeah.
They currently have 78.3 million players per month. So if giving you that number and knowing that Minecraft has been out for longer, but is also out on multiple platforms, where would you say Minecraft probably sits relative to Fortnite?
See, the rational person in me wants to say less than that, obviously. The person in me that thinks you're trying to trick me would probably say it's gonna be more.
Right. So give me a number. So I'm telling you, Fortnite right now, 78.3 million players average monthly.
I don't know. I'm gonna say like 10, 20.
So according to Microsoft, who, as you guys might recall, now owns Minecraft, which is crazy, they still currently have 91 million monthly active players.
I mean, some of that's got to be inflated, right?
I don't even know how that could be inflated. Like, it does specifically state active, which means it's not like just accounts that are sitting. Like, I have a Minecraft account from when I bought the game.
Active is relative. It could be relative.
I mean, it's certainly more impressive. Like, whenever you look at MMORPGs that report their numbers, there tends to be like they usually are reporting the number of service accounts that are kind of in play. But this is the first time I've seen the word active, like, specifically mentioned. Like 14. Ironically, nobody has seen me play 14 on the stream yet, but 14 is probably my favorite living game, and I think like 14 at best averages maybe 100k players actively a month.
So did the report describe how they took these statistics?
They don't. I have to admit, it is a bit of a PR piece.
That could be a little sketchy.
Yeah.
Could be a little sketchy. I think one of the big things for me, it's like, you don't, I don't know how it quantifies in terms of Minecraft, but like, don't people have like different servers and different private things? Like,
so
is that a thing that happens?
Walt's actually just commented in the chat. He was just saying Minecraft is crazy now. So many mods actually take it to a whole different genre. So maybe this is like a Gary's Mod situation where it's just people are, or like a Skyrim situation, people are just modifying it to the point at which it's completely different.
Yeah, I mean, if there is a game that can come back like that, that would be the game.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, Walt's saying you can go to space, build rockets, so it's Kerbal Space Program.
Well, I'm thinking more like a community-driven No Man's Sky,
Oh yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Like a voxel based.
where instead of being procedurally generated, it's community generated.
Yeah. It's a good point. So, Aaron, I'm going to toss this back to you, and Waltz, if you want to comment on chat, where do you feel like the appeal of Minecraft is right now as a quote unquote older gamer? Like, we're obviously now entering into the age bracket that is kind of novel for games. Like, we're no longer the prime market anymore. Do you think Minecraft still has appeal for a gaming audience that, trends on slightly on the older side?
Is this for me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was coughing, so I didn't know what you were saying.
I was just saying, like, in terms of Minecraft, I would say Minecraft, especially when you look at the footage of, like, Minecon and the different, public stuff that's presented for Minecraft, I would say Minecraft is usually for a younger, demographic. And I think knowing both of our ages, we're both kind of starting to slip into the age group that gaming is slowly starting to care less about.
I think it comes down to which type of a gamer you are, because Minecraft, I don't know, it's one of those things where Minecraft is essentially a sandbox game, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's really as much as you do with it and how far you want to take it. So it's like playing a D&D campaign, right? Where it could be very, very streamlined and you're very, very direct in exactly what you're doing, or it could be so open and free form that you guys will play multiple sessions and you won't even progress your actual main storyline by like 1%.
That's like the classic D&D issue.
Yeah. And I feel like that's sort of like that's probably my guess is where Minecraft sort of sits, right? Because it has the capacity to cater to every audience, given that there is the right mod for it. So I think you have to be the gamer that's willing to seek out these sort of things and try to bring that into your space, and then you can really, really enjoy what Minecraft truly is.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. So the other half to this news story is Microsoft they basically asked Microsoft, given the amount of active players you have per month, would you be interested in creating Minecraft 2? To which Xbox boss Phil Spencer pretty much said, it's not a game that it doesn't make sense to split the player base between Minecraft and Minecraft 2, but they are developing what they're calling like sideline content or like sidequill content. So they recently just announced Minecraft Dungeons, which apparently is going to be a Diablo-style Minecraft dungeon crawler, which is scheduled to come out for 2019. Do you foresee success with like these modifications of the Minecraft formula?
So before I go on, I think we should acknowledge what Waltz was saying.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah. So Waltz has just said, with respect to Minecraft, he said, I'd play the hell out of it if you could get a couple of good friends playing it together. It's a relaxing game just to play around and build stuff. Can't handle the action genre, in which he said too old. I mean,
my concern...
Go ahead, Ayro.
Sorry, I think Walt has a very good point. I think there's a lot of very good games out there. Minecraft probably will be one of them, where people just want to get together, have fun, relax, do some random stuff, and they don't really want to get into things that are too intensive. Sometimes you come home, you just want to wind down. You don't want to play anything that's like very stimulating, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So moving back to your question, if I think the mods will work, I think the issue is it basically trying to reskin a like Diablo style game but with Minecraft aesthetics?
So there's only been one trailer which I have watched for this Minecraft Dungeons, but it's actually not very clear what the gameplay loop is going to be. It just shows you Minecraft Steve and his buddies dressed up in armor and wielding weapons like daggers and swords and stuff. So it's a little bit interesting because it's actually not fantastically clear what the gameplay loop will be. Like, will you pick up loot or do you have to forge your armor? So it's a bit of a mystery till they show more.
I think for me, it's going to be hard to answer. And it'll probably come down to whether the game is sort of a cash grab to sort of capitalize on the mods that are out there, and they're just creating this one very specific mod that'll have the Minecraft aesthetics and just be sort of a dungeon diving, like roguelike type of game where you're just getting loot, or whether it's going to be a type of game that's going to be in the vein of the Lego series games, where they took Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Batman, Lego superheroes, and they sort of like took these games that were out there and took these themes and IPs that are out there and put their own twist on it. And like the cool thing about the Lego is that you can build things, dismantle things, and like change things around. And it wouldn't be a normal concept in any of like the games that are specifically Star Wars, for example.
So I guess my only sense, or not sense, my only concern with this kind of formula is I feel like I don't know if the audience would go for it because, like you said, there's already precedent for mods that exist. Now, granted, obviously Microsoft has access to the source code, so they can do a lot more to mod the game to make it a different gameplay style.
Well,
but it's like the Skyrim problem. Like, you already have a ton of free mods.
It's true. Waltz does bring up a good point. He's saying don't forget that there's a Telltale Minecraft game already.
That's a good point, yeah.
Could be story driven. But I don't know. I feel like there is a group of players, for example, that play Skyrim that don't really want to have to deal with doing mods. And so if you told them that we are re-releasing Skyrim 4K HD or whatever, or like we are like making everything look amazing, people will still buy it. Think of how many Skyrim games they've announced since the release of Skyrim.
I already probably own like all of those.
So there's definitely a demographic to cater to if there is a demand for something like that. And even something as simple as just upgrading the graphics, something as simple as adding a story, adding like new arcs and stuff that are really meaningful could be very interesting, and people definitely buy into it, I think.
That's a good point. It's just, I don't know. I have to admit, I think I'm a little bit more skeptical. I feel like there's more potential for this to be swept aside. Like, I feel like the core Minecraft... So here's the thing. It's like Wallace was pointing out. Like, Minecraft is a game that you would love to play with a group of people because it's relaxing and it's chill. You build, you just have fun. I don't know if tacking on an action RPG kind of like skin, I guess, over that formula is necessarily going to be successful.
And that's why it's such a tricky path to walk down, right? Because you're essentially trying to implement this new thing, but keep the spirit of the game, because you're using that IP. So you're trying to keep the spirit of the original IP, which is supposed to be this freeform, sandbox, like do whatever you want, play however you want type of a game, but then you're also adding this element of we want to direct you to doing something very specific.
Exactly.
So we're gonna have to look at how they implement it. It just sounds more likely than not that it will fail, but I wouldn't count it out
just yet. Yeah, that's true. All right, let's round it out. We got one more story left to go for handover. I've noticed on our team Discord that Ayro's been playing a game that I want to talk to him about, and I don't know how long he's been playing it. So I thought it would be a good morning report. But just to round out our last segment on handover, I just wanted to quickly go over Rock Paper Shotgun. Great website, love it for PC gaming. Recently came out with a list of what they are calling the 25 best multiplayer games on PC. I thought it would be super fun to just go over this list as the two of us. And Walt, if you want to chime in, I think it'd be great as well. What they're saying.
Where's this list again?
It's on Rock Paper Shotgun. I'm going to read it out. Okay. So it's 25 games. I'm going to quickly read them out in order from lowest on the list to highest on the list. So in order, the games that they are listing as the best co-op PC games of all time. So obviously, no Halo, not a lot of other games that we might maybe consider as being fantastic on a console basis. Purely PC. Number 25, Onward. Number 24, Mount Your Friends. Number 23, Sports Friends. Number 22, Mortal Kombat 10. Number 21, Northgard. Number 20, Regular Human Basketball. 19, Neptune's Pride. Number 18, For Honor. Number 17, Quake Champions. Number 16, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Number 15, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Number 14, Duelist. Number 13, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Number 12, StarCraft 2. Number 11, Battlefield 1. Number 10, Garry's Mod. Number 9, Battlerite. Number 8, Nidhogg. Number 7, Chivalry, Medieval Warfare. Number 6, Rocket League. Number 5, Overwatch. Number 4, Devil Daggers. Number 3, Towerfall Ascension. Number 2, Team Fortress 2. And number 1, drumroll please, Dota 2! So, I mean, obviously there's a lot of games on here. Some that I think the two of us have heard of. Some games that I personally have never heard of. I don't know if you've heard of all the games on the list.
The last page has the full list.
Yeah.
I was clicking to the page just trying to follow you. I was like, you're going so fast, man.
It's on our document. Did I forget to post our little Google Doc thing?
No, I just didn't look.
Okay. So, I mean, a couple of these games on here I think should be on this list. Like, Mortal Kombat 10, sure. Quake Champions, sure. I'm surprised that... Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you go first.
I was just going to say, I'm surprised PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is on here, but not Fortnite?
I'm confused. There's a few things that are confusing me, which is when they say multiplayer, does that mean you're playing with a lot of other people?
No, not massively multiplayer.
Or in teams?
I think it's as long as you're playing with other people. Because, I mean, Mortal Kombat 10, it's really just 2 people.
Yeah, that's why I was like, some of these games just look like one-on-one type of games.
Yeah, I think it's as long...
I'm very confused.
I think it's as long as it's you're playing with other people. I think that satisfies the definition.
Okay, this is definitely not how I would have categorized multiplayer. I think that's why it was very confusing for me.
I mean, looking at this list, there's like a couple of games I'm like, yeah, I can see that. Like, I get why that's there.
So, do we want to start from the bottom, like from 25 all the way to 1?
No. Let's start from 10, because I think there's a lot of games. I mean, unless there's any particular games you want to talk about between 25 and 10.
No, I don't know. Like, there's a couple of games. There's quite a few games here that I'm not very familiar with.
Yeah, same. I think For Honor on 18 surprises me.
Yeah, I think that definitely does, but I've never played it, so I don't know. I've seen streamers play it.
It was free on Steam, and I was telling you to get it.
Yeah, I know. I think I missed it during that time.
I mean, For Honor, Mortal Kombat 10, I don't think either of us are particularly big fighting game fans.
So, the thing for me here is, what is this based on? Because is this based on, like, a... Sort of like, is this Matt Cox, the staff writer's, like, his list? Is it a list from, like, a community? Is it, like, the best reviewed type of games? I think
this is, like, Rock, Paper, Shotgun's collective, like, we as a group have decided on this list.
I guess because my question here ends up being, like, because it seems like they were trying to be representative in a way.
Of, like, different genres and stuff?
Yes. It looks like it.
I think overall it's meant to be like Rock, Paper, Shotgun says if you want to play a game with other people, like, this is the list. And maybe subconsciously there's been some, like, oh, let's try to include, you know, every genre to have some... I mean, there are some genres that are clearly missing. Like, there's no racing game on that list.
Yes.
There's no, like, board game equivalent on that list.
Wow, that's really this is also play on PC, but wow, yeah, I didn't even realize that. But there's no racing game.
There's racing games on PC. There's, like, I mean, there's Grid. There's Grid for sure.
To be fair, like, there's a bunch of Mario games that would make my best multiplayer list.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's just...
But that's, like, not on PC console.
I mean, there's no board game equivalent. Like, I mean, none of the Jackbox games are on there, which I think are fantastic PC multiplayer games.
Oh, yeah, those are great multiplayer games.
Right? Like, there's clearly some... I don't think it's completely correct to say that all of the... genres are represented. There's obviously, like, a couple here that are, I would say, missing, but yeah, there's, like, a couple games on this list where I'm like, oh, okay. And overall, I think it's meant to be a definitive, like, Rock, Paper, Shotgun says these are the games you need to play on PC to have fun with other people.
Yeah, I think, and I guess it depends on, like, are they looking at certain games that have that has had a long lifespan that sort of has survived sort of like that initial hype.
Yeah, possibly.
Through.
I mean, TF2 is there.
Well, for example, like, one of the things that I was looking at, and I'm like, Dragon Ball Fighter is literally, like, the
just
hype.
Came out. Yeah.
In terms of, like, fighting games, right? It's, like, the hype, and everyone is having a great time with it. It's developed by a great studio, one of my favorites, Artworks, like, because they make Guilty Gear, and I loved Guilty Gear. Like, I played that in high school growing up. So that's, like, one of those games that I'd be like, oh, yeah, this is really weird.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
And, I don't know. I mean, there's also I always have had a soft spot for games like MapleStory, just because it's unique in and of itself, I think.
Oh, there's many words I would use to describe MapleStory, my friend, and unique is not one of them.
Okay, but think of it this way, though, right? Like, how many equivalent is there of that similar art style, of the similar type of game, right? And it still has an audience, like it doesn't. I think Steam just released MapleStory 2.
There's a MapleStory 2?
It's weird. It's like 3D. It's weird.
Oh. Waltz just brought up a good point, by the way. He just said Dota 2, but no League of Legends.
That was the big thing. That was the big thing for me.
There
is Dota 2, and no League of Legends. Now, Dota 2 is a little more appealing to... I think it's not appealing, but it's a little more conducive for the multiplayer game, because the thing is, League of Legends is gated by purchasing champions. So you only have a small pool when you start playing, and there's a rotating free pool over the course of a week.
I thought you eventually earn, like, if you play enough, you eventually
in
earn.
League of Legends?
Yeah.
So how it works is you start off with a very small pool of heroes that you have that are free, that you can always use.
Yeah.
And there's a rotating pool that will rotate every week.
Right.
As you play games, you will win basically the in-game currency, which you can use to try to buy heroes.
Right.
Or champions. But new champions are expensive. So it's going to take you a lot of games before you can get enough to purchase a new champion. So it's not the best.
So, but when you say a lot of games, like I mean, LoL and Dota 2 are meant to be lifestyle games, right? You're supposed to play them effectively for a very long time, game after game after game. So, I mean, isn't that it? Like, at the end of the day, I guess I see what your point is, though, because you're saying.
Well, I mean, I played. Let's say I played when I was playing. I probably played maybe. How long did I play? Maybe 4 to 5 hours a day. Like, because I was playing with friends and whatnot, and sometimes less, sometimes more. But on average, including the weekends where you sort of just binge and you play a lot with your friends, let's say 4 to 5 hours a day. During that time frame that I probably played for a good 2 years or 3, probably. I still didn't have the entire champion pool.
How many were you able to collect?
I probably had like half of them.
I mean, that's not bad. I can understand in the meta sense. Yes, it's terrible.
Not bad. But at the same time, it hurts when you can't choose the character you want to use. So it kind of sucks. But
I mean, so wait. So how does Dota 2 not suffer from the same problem? Is it because all the heroes are like? What is the Dota 2?
If I recall correctly, Dota 2 does have all the heroes available to you
at the start. Full stop.
Yes.
So where do they make their money from?
Skins, I believe.
And do they? I guess they're making a lot of money because clearly they're still doing it, and TI2 is still a huge thing, or TI whatever, whatever TI we're up to now.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, aesthetics in these types of games make a lot of money.
I mean, I believe it. It's just, I guess, for me.
And there's also a couple of really cool game modes that there's a couple of great game modes that was carried on from the original Dota that is in Dota 2 that at least when I left LoL, that wasn't in LoL. So that's also really nice. Like, there's cool different ways of playing the game. You're still playing the same game, but it's more like it limits your hero selection pool. It doesn't let you do certain things and whatnot. So, in general, that's one way you can explain it. But there are a couple of other MOBA style games, the multiplayer online battle arena games out there. One of my personal favorites is Hero of the Storm, which is the Blizzard equivalent.
Hots.
Yes. The only reason I like it is because it's a very team and objective based game. It's not about it's very little about individual accolades, not as much at least as League of Legends or as Dota. Clearly this is the talk of a poor player, but it's not so much about individual accolades. It's more about team coherency and about gathering objectives. And there's a bunch of different maps that you rotate and play, sort of different map pools that you could play in. Whereas Dota has always been the same map. Same with League of Legends has always been the same map. League of Legends map is modeled after the Dota map that you've been playing all the time. But yeah, I was surprised that Dota 2 was at the top and not League of Legends. Considering the popularity of League of Legends. But it definitely has fallen out of favor compared to some of the new, the Battle Royale style games.
Yeah.
It's definitely fallen out of favor. And which is why it's weird that, Fortnite is not on it. And PUBG is on it. But
yeah.
PUBG was, insanely popular at one point. Insanely popular.
But then PUBG, I feel like Fortnite, I mean, the fact that we now call this genre Battle Royale is pretty indicative of who has, effectively become the definitive face of this genre.
Oh, definitely. I think PUBG was the one. Well, I mean, I feel like PUBG was the one that really shot this up there, but Fortnite has taken over the world by storm.
Yeah.
Mostly kids, but taken over the world by storm.
Well, I mean, Ninja is an adult, question mark. And
That's one person.
Yeah, you know, he's done enough for himself, I think.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know.
There are some great games on this list, I think. I think Overwatch is well deserved.
Well, I mean...
What else is there? Let's see. Rocket League, I think, is well deserved. Battlerite's a very cool MOBA style game where it's a 2-on-2 type of a game.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Battlefield 1 probably is one of the best ones, I guess, you would put on there.
Battlefield 1, I'm okay putting on. Like, I understand why it's there. I understand why the series still has, like, venerance or is, like, revered.
Has legs.
Yeah.
Got legs. I'm happy to see... well, there's a few... I haven't played Duelist, but I know of Duelist, and it's great that Duelist is on, because there are a lot of other similar style, or at least, like, card game type of games out there. Card-ish games. And
So-
Duelist is a really good one, so...
I have not tried it. I mean, I've tried... What was it? I think there was something that... Is it called Shadowverse? There was something jokingly
Yes.
at one point called Anime Hearthstone, and I think it was...
Pretty much, that is Shadowverse.
And
That is Shadowverse.
there was
Anime Hearthstone.
There was another online trading card game that was being tooted on Kickstarter that came out, and I don't know what happened to it. Was it called Hex or something like that?
I have no clue. There's a whole bunch probably that were like that.
And it's sad to see some of them go.
I'm also happy to see Rainbow Six Siege. Very deserving. It's a very good game.
I've heard that has now basically become a very good game, which is really
Yeah.
awesome.
It has become like, it's more so like there has been a lot of love from developers and from like that group that has sort of kept updating and improving on that game, which has really made it really good. So
That's awesome. So Waltz just was saying, do we think StarCraft... Or I think he's arguing that StarCraft 1 is better than StarCraft 2. I agree.
I'm gonna be honest. I really only played StarCraft 2.
What? we need to get you to play.
It's free. No, I will play it. It's free. I need to find time. It is StarCraft 1 is free on Blizzard to play. If you want the HD edition, you have to pay for it. But the regular edition is free to play.
We gotta get
I will eventually get to playing it.
We gotta get you to play Brood War. That's what we gotta get you to play.
Yeah, I know. I've heard so many good things. I just never got around to playing it. I think I love watching StarCraft. StarCraft is an amazing game to watch. Some people hate it. I love it.
The rest of the games I'm happy with to see. I mean, not too many things contentious really for me at this point. I think we already talked about how we're shocked and not shocked. We're surprised that Dota 2 is on there, but not LOL. We're saying how like Mortal Kombat 10 and not Street Fighter, which is also on PC. So now that we've wrapped up the handover, I was going to do a bit of morning report because Ayro, I saw on Discord that you have recently started playing Hyper Light Drifter.
Oh, yeah.
How is that going?
Thanks you.
How is that going? I'm actually really interested to hear what you think about the game.
A lot of dying, a lot of very sore thumbs. Because I was trying to do the 800 dash.
Oh, the
that really did not work out.
The chain
did not pan out well.
The chain dash thing.
Chain dash. A lot of chain dashing. A lot of sore thumbs. A lot of little bit of frustration. Sort of like, why do I only have 5 lives? Why can't I get new costumes?
There are new costumes.
Cool stuff.
There are new costumes.
Yeah, I know. I was saying like I can't get to them.
Oh.
I'm not good enough to get to them yet.
So where have you gone? Like what have you managed to like do so far in Hyper Light Drifter?
I've cleared the northern part and the western part, and that's it.
So the
I
big
haven't
bird.
collected everything from north and west, but I have cleared the north and the west bosses.
So north is the big bird who does like the AOE kind of the AOE attacks. I don't remember the boss on the west side.
Are we spoilering stuff or no?
Let's spoiler warning. Spoiler warning.
Yeah, the north side was the bird dude that sort of like explodes the ground.
Yeah.
Like in squares. And then the west side one which I don't know if we actually even finished, because I don't know when. I know you're playing Hyperlight Drifter on Thursday, I think.
Yeah.
But are we picking off from last time when we were traveling to the West?
We are not. I actually got addicted to playing that game when I was post-call, because it was an easy game to kind of not think about stuff.
Yeah.
And so I ended up beating all 4 bosses.
You don't remember which one the West one is?
I actually don't. And the reason is because right now... So the stream on Thursday is going to be me doing post-game content before. So I'm actually at the final boss, but...
then I might not watch it.
No, I'm not going to do the final boss, though. So I'm going through all 4 areas to find the hidden keys and stuff, because I didn't use a walkthrough. So actually, if you're on that stream, you can help me out, because you can tell me where I've not picked a stuff
I only use some of them. I don't use all of them. So the Western boss is the one that's basically like you. He swings the sword, he shoots a gun, type of a thing.
Oh yeah, it's like a Bloodborne hunter versus hunter battle. You're reminding me.
Yeah. Sort of.
Oh,
that one was definitely a little tough. That one, I had a lot of trouble with that boss. It's the one I fought first. I had no real upgrades at the time.
Yeah.
And it felt like every time I dashed, he would just track me. And he knew where I was dashing to. I was like, what's going on?
So the trick to that one is if you pick up the dash slash, it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, I had nothing. So I was like timing things. Like I was like, oh, I gotta wait for the last second before I time stuff and move away. Man, tough.
That is going to be it for tonight. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. If you want to get in touch with us, you can always reach us at facebook.com/postcallgaming or twitter.com/postcallgaming. Ayro, where can our audience follow you if they want to see some more of your stuff?
Same thing as every stream. I don't have my own place, so you can just find me right here at Postcall Gaming.
Nice. All right. It was a huge blast. Thank you again, Ayro, for joining the stream.
No problem.
All right, and we are going to see you guys next time.